Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. It is a couple minutes after 8 o'clock, the 12th of November, on Monday, the 12th of November. And as promised, tonight's live will be focused on righting all of the wrongs. And that sounds like a Herculean task in a country where everything feels wrong. In a country where everything feels like it is broken, like nothing works. Where you could be maligned, molested, attacked, you could be threatened, all manner of ways for doing the right thing and standing up for the right thing and saying the right thing. But that day passing, that day passing, because this is the time of the patriots. This is the time of the civic-minded. Now is the time for Trinidad and Tobago to find its way. We've never done that. We've never actually operated this country like a country. Eric Williams' mission was to seize the country from the colonists. And he did. He seized it, we got independence, and then he handed it over to the people who were abusing it under the colonists without the authority and the discipline of us being a colony. All of a sudden, the same things that were wrong before August 31st, 1962, all of the things that were wrong on August 31st, 1962, continued on September 1st, 1962, with one difference. There was nobody in charge. Eric Williams didn't know what he was doing. He had no clue. He had no vision for the country. What he knew was that it was a time of heightened race. It was a time of heightened race consciousness, and he wanted to be at the forefront of that. And I don't want to stay on that issue too much because that's for other historians to deal with. What Eric Williams did to Trinidad and Tobago, all he succeeded in doing to Trinidad and Tobago, was removing the authority and the discipline of the Queen and replacing it with nothing. Absolutely nothing. Eric Williams was surrounded by a criminal construct, the contractocracy, a group of very shrewd opportunists who saw a broken and divided nation as a chance for them to enrich themselves. And that's what has been going on in this country for 56 years. Eric Williams and his entire band, do your research, precipitated a theft in this country unheralded anywhere else in the world. Anselm LeBon, who interviewed me on a New Jersey radio station this weekend here, wanted to talk about the fact that he teaches a business class and that Somalia is supposed to be more corrupt than Trinidad. And I told him no. The only reason that we're not heading that list is we found a way to corrupt that too. This is a corrupt country. There is nothing in Trinidad and Tobago that has been spared the corruption brush. If you could share the video so we could get the conversation up and running. But nothing. And all of the theft that took place, 30 years of Eric Williams was a lifetime. 30 years of Eric Williams was a trip through hell for this country. The grandchildren of Africa who, under the Queen, while they, at that time, the 60s and the 70s, civil rights was still in its infancy. And black people were still treated as second-class citizens everywhere in the world. And in Trinidad and Tobago, black people were Africans and Indians because you were white or you were black. That was it. White or black. If you weren't Caucasian, you were black. You were different shades of black. You were Mongol, you were Asian, you were Chinese, you were African, they had different words for them, they had different words for Indian, Arab, Turkish, everybody else, white or black. And Eric Williams wanted to be white. not necessarily white-skinned, but he wanted all of the glory and the authority that being white represented in Trinidad and Tobago. Because you could have done anything, you could have gotten away with anything, and if you look at Trinidad and Tobago tonight, you will say to me, but nothing's changed, just the players. Because over the years, Syrian people who were black, like black, and Arabs were black, got some money. And I had to point out in a meeting tonight, in Trinidad and Tobago, the lower on the economic rung you go, the blacker you get. And the higher on the economic rung you go, the whiter you get. It's like we see shades of money. Because there are very black people with a lot of money who kill them dead, the white as the driven snow, you know. That's just how this country is. And we've gotten to a place where we've lost sight of this being a nation. All the plural talk, all the multi-ethnic talk, that's for the advertisers. That's to sell nonsense. When it comes right down to it, Trinidad and Tobago is a very racist society. And races, funnily enough, with the exception of black people, because even though black people are easily identifiable, they are not as racist as all the other races tend to be. It's easy in Trinidad and Tobago to be racist to black people. And it's done institutionally. And that is why in Trinidad and Tobago, the grandchildren of Africa have nothing really. They have nothing to show for all of them having been the power behind Eric Williams was the black vote. And everything that the PNM has done to date has been based on the power of the black vote. That's the truth. And yet, the political party that black Trinidad and Tobago put into power for 41 years, 42 years now, has not benefited them. There is no industry, not even Carnival, that black people own. And Carnival is black culture. Not even that belongs to the black community. Johnny Soong and Club Coconuts ended up owning all of the big feds. Do deals with Mirage and TriStar Entertainment and Trini Posse and all these different groups. And what Johnny Soong and Club Coconuts would do is give them some tickets. 100 tickets, 1,000 tickets, it doesn't matter, you're giving them cardboard. That they in turn have to sell and turn into money and put people in your party. But Johnny Soong, Chinese Johnny Soong, and his committee, Michelle Julie, whose father was the head of Royal Bank, and Cindy Lee Phillips, whose father was the head of Guardian Life, they ended up owning the high-end Carnival feds, that Club Coconuts crew. And for a long time, I don't know who owns it now, but for a long time. And then you had the rise of other people, Dean Akin, again, not a black man, that ended up owning the majority of the high-end Carnival bands. When you look at all of the Carnival bands that exist, that play mass now, they're not owned by black people. Dean Akin and a group are trying to get control of the parade of the bands. I had suggested to the state a decade ago that they move the parade of the bands from the savannah because the amplified trucks are causing distress to the residents of Woodbrook, Newtown, St. Clair, and environs. St. James. The people who live in those communities do not want Carnival passing through their community. It is an inconvenience and a bother. It doesn't bring business, because all of the bands now, I don't want to stick on this, but it's showing you and I'm making a point. All of the bands now are all inclusive. When you pay for your costume, you pay for all your drinks, you pay for everything. So even the little bar people and the little food people that used to set up to make some money carnival time, they don't get nothing. Because the bands that pass in through your communities are all inclusive. They bring in their own food. They bring in their own meals. There is nothing for you and your community to benefit from. And over the past 5 years, something ridiculous happened. The audience, the spectators for Carnival went away. You could show up on Arapita Avenue at the height of Carnival Tuesday and find nobody. Nobody. Why? Because the top 10 bands, if they were to meet and exchange banners, and hearts become tribe, and tribe become passion, and passion become whoever, I don't know their names, they just exchange banners and continue down the road. The music will be the same, the revelers will be the same, the costumes will be the same, and there is nothing there for the audience or the spectators to see. The North Stand that costs tens of millions of dollars to put up every carnival is the biggest waste in Carnival, but it is the best thing to own when you're renting the North Stand to the state. Under the UNC, there's a UNC financier puts up the North Stand. Under the PNM, is a PNM financier puts up the North Stand. And it's basically some steel beams and some trusses and some plywood. And that's it. And that you rent to the state every year for the full value. And the North Stand is only used once, one time, for the Panorama semifinals. And even that is sponsored and paid for by the state. And even that is allowed to charge $200, $300, and $400 for people to get in. And millions of dollars is made by the Trinbago people for Panorama. But Trinbago doesn't pay for the North Stand. The people do. The taxpayers do. It doesn't come out of the $200, $300, and $400 a head that pays to go to watch Pan. The state pays for that. Money in a financier's pocket. Hold that. We'll call it culture. Nobody can talk about that. But you have to talk about that. Because the North Stand is the biggest waste in Carnival right now. But the point that I'm trying to make is that even the culture of Africa, of Afro-Trinbagonians, doesn't belong to Afro-Trinbagonians anymore. Somebody had written an article that said the black male that was the central point of Carnival has been reduced to a security guard holding ropes to protect masqueraders and hosing down wee-wee trucks. And that is a sad indictment on the condition of the grandchildren of Africa that put the PNM in power for 41 years. All of the industries that matter, construction, food importation, entertainment, all of the shopping malls, retail, wholesale, automotive, there is nothing that you can say in Trinidad and Tobago Afro-Trinbagonians excel at that. And that is as a direct result of a deliberate act on the part of government to divide and continue the divide that was set in place by the British Empire. Because the British Empire, like all other colonizers, when they take control of a country, a nation, or a state, the first thing they do is to find people to put against each other so that they could be friends with both sides, but both sides can't be friends with each other. India, Pakistan, Hutus and Tutsis. I mean, all conflict in the world is fueled by colonization for exploitation. That's what it's for. They don't just want Africans and Indians fighting. The British only role in Trinidad and Tobago was exploitation. Eric Williams, as a historian, learned that well. The fact that 30 years of Eric Williams meant worse exploitation than the Queen ever did, or the Empire ever did, worse exploitation that the Crown ever exerted on these colonies, showed that Eric Williams was not the emancipator that the P&M sold him as. He was a bigger bully with a bigger stick, because it was easier to fool the grandchildren of Africa with someone who looked like them. Like the saying, the forest was disappearing, but the trees kept voting for the axe because the handle was made of wood and looked like them. We are not going to fix this country until we repair that racial divide. Because all of our people need to be given the same chances. And I want to tell black Trinbagonians especially, we have never had poverty in this country to the level that India had poverty. Mova, Bitam, Laventel, and Silots, which are probably our worst, most depressed, saddest, squalid communities, were middle class compared to the ghetto millions of India. If you see Slumdog Millionaire, the things that they show you in that show, that is all real, and that is not the worst of what India was. That country is now a global superpower and boasts the largest middle class in the world. More than 600 million middle class people live in India in 30 years. From the ghetto of planet Earth, India was the worst. From the ghetto of planet Earth to the largest middle class in the world, largest democracy in the world, second largest consumer on the planet, India. And they did that by simply focusing on the conditions of all of their people. India realized that the world was changing and information technology was going to rule the world. And they had a vision for their people. And they said, we will take the lowest jobs. We will take all of your menial jobs away from you. We will take those and do those. You don't have to worry about those. So as soon as any hardware was invented, any technology was created, any software was written, India got the rules first. They had to send to India all of the information, train Indian staff to say that this is going to be launched next year. You in India, you know it now, and it's launching in the world next year. So India had all of everybody's information. and was training an entire generation coming of age in information technology. And what happens when you put that much sunlight and that many brains to work on one thing? They must succeed. They must excel. India owns more information technology patents than any country in the world. They may manufacture in China because the salaries in India are higher than the salaries in China. And manufacturing will always try to go to the lowest labor bill. India is still rising. And the reason I use India as an example is so that Trinidad and Tobago understands that this notion of using the people as retail slaves, that is not going to take us anywhere. And that won't elevate and change the people's condition. And until you treat with all of the people's conditions, you see, you could come out of school top of your class, and you could go to university and come out of with your degree top of your class, and then find that there is no real career job for you. You get work. Don't get me wrong. You could pay for a nice little car, you could buy some threads, you could take the girl or the boy out on the weekend on the avenue, and you could like yourself. That you could do. Country set up for that. They will see you in TGI Fridays. You will post selfies from Haagen-Dazs. Country set up for that. But you have nowhere to go. You're locked in. You're hemmed in by a lack of opportunity, because the government doesn't want you to compete with the government's owners. The contractocracy that has carried forward since Eric Williams. The faces and the names may have changed, but the policy of operational exploitation and abuse has continued to this day. The names and the faces and the races of the faces may have changed. But to the grandchildren of Africa especially, your condition hasn't. Nothing has changed. You have not gotten to a position. They created a University of Trinidad and Tobago to say that we are going to elevate the condition of Trinbagonians. Read Black Trinis here. And the University of Trinidad and Tobago has collapsed in a heap of corruption. The people who set it up stole and ruined the whole notion. There is nothing. These people could spoil hog food. And we want to say to you, the word empowerment in the Progressive Empowerment Party's name is all about elevating our people. Let's look at some ideas. Now, I said to Keith Rowley today, I know you have no plans and I know you have no solutions. Tune in tonight and you get some ideas. If the government, either the PNM or the UNC, ever wanted to treat with all of the people of this country with dignity and respect, and to give everybody an opportunity to advance to their fullest potential, to maximize their capacity, they would have made jobs the most important criteria. You see the effort that the media is putting on the police service and Gary Griffith right now? Good job. Keep it up. Let's keep posting all of those arrests and seizures and all of that. Cool. But that's going to get old real quick. That's going to get tired real fast. People are going to get bored. What? You get 12 guns? Last week you get 10. Show me 20 now. And next 300 million in marijuana. You'll get bored quick. You'll get bored. What the media and the state should be focusing on is the development of the people. But we're not focusing on that. And the question has to be asked, why? There is a labor pool of about 500,000 people in the East-West corridor, undereducated, functionally illiterate, without the capacity for a career. These are people like anybody else. I tell people, if Barack Obama was born in Trinidad and Tobago, he would be parking cars for $5 outside Catalyst and Zen. He'd be looking for a hustle. You see, the hope and the opportunity. Barack Obama wrote a book called, was it The Audacity of Hope? And that is a strong, strong sentence. The audacity of hope describes India. The daring to dream, to say, we will transform our condition. We will advance. We will do what it takes to lift the condition of all of our people. We will identify where they fall short and take steps to fill those gaps. We will ensure that education doesn't teach our people what to think. It teaches them how to think in a world of global information in the palm of your hands. If you have the ability to use your brain as a tool, then information gives you the opportunity to advance your condition exponentially. Our mission always was to make sure that our people were literate and then functionally literate. And once that happened, to make sure that the education system left no child behind. But our education system leaves a full 50% behind. And of the 50% that go forward, 20% of them have low-end, meaningless jobs for the rest of their lives. They will be consumers and laborers till they're dead. Worse, they will leave nothing for their children but memories, because they will have no equity. You've hemmed them in. You've corralled them into a world where, on the interview, this woman said they have people coming from the small islands and working and living happily in Trinidad. I said, no, ma'am. They may be working, but they're not happy. You cannot be happy if you're not saving. You can't be happy if you're not investing. You can't be happy if you don't have disposable income. You can be personally happy, but don't make it sound like they're romping and they're skipping and they're having a ball. They're not. They're working very hard for menial wages to get through each and every day. And they see no light at the end of the tunnel. There is no hope. And they need to stay in their lane, hold their corner, and keep their eyes down, because they don't want their boss to lose faith in them. Because the only thing worse than having a dead-end shit job is losing that dead-end shit job when you are unhireable. We've done that to this country. We've done that to our people. We've made them believe this is a nation that transshipped bauxite for 100 years. We've transshipped bauxite for 100 years, but we've never benefited from bauxite. Templadora and Alcan Alcoa, all massive transshipment, flat bottom to deep bottom, flat bottom riverboats to deep water boats, ships. That transshipment took place in Trinidad. There are people who live in the shadow of those communities that have died from lung cancer, that don't know that they died from lung cancer breathing in alumina silicate, raw bauxite, where they put the Carnival fish market in the shadow of Alcoa to drown Carnival people with bauxite. But we've had the bauxite industry in Trinidad for 100 years and have not learned how to advantage that. Guyana needs us, but they don't deal with us. They rent space for Alcoa and Alcan. And that is the madness of the lack of vision. Because as long as politicians could get a little something on the side, a kakada, stick in their pocket, to put it wherever their bank account is, so they can live large after. I hear Surut Rambachan building houses in Central. Housing business. Both parties, the PNM and the UNC, have done one thing. Seized control of the treasury and used it to the benefit of those who control them, those who instruct them, those who give them the directives of where the money goes. And it is a sad and tragic situation that we now have a PNM government that is willing to use the legislature to write laws to further strip the rights of the people instead of deepening the rights of the public. The message is clear. You are a laborer and consumer. Don't step out your lane. Don't ask no questions, because we will use the power of the state against you. The power of the state belongs to the people. And before it is too late, before a government comes to power, I am hearing some 1%ers. Every time you talk about the 1% and what they're doing, there are certain members of them, all of a sudden the word sedition. Sedition is a word in Trinidad. Sedition was a word for treason and going against the state. All of a sudden, to talk about 1%ers or any specific communities that may be abusing political connections to their own advantage, all of a sudden that is sedition too. Before a government comes to power and finalizes this equation, because slowly but surely they're pushing them pieces forward on the board, and at some point they're going to legitimize dictatorship. At some point, this is how the democracy will end, with a round of applause, with supporters of a party saying this, we time now, we vote for that, and nobody will benefit. But those who have the ability to draw down from the treasury, and as Benjamin Franklin says, when the people realize that they have the ability to vote themselves money direct from the treasury, it will herald the end of the republic. A republic is a nation ruled by law. Trinidad and Tobago, as a republic, does not practice the tenets of a true republic. And I am saying that without fear of contradiction. If the people of this country do not wake up and pay attention to where we are and where we're going, we will end up like Germany, where Adolf Hitler, that you demonize now, do you know in Germany it's illegal to use those words, those names? You can't name a child that. Adolf Hitler was voted into office. Adolf Hitler was also voted after he became the chancellor. He was also voted as a Kaiser. That is the equivalent of somebody being voted prime minister and then being voted president. And who tried that? Patrick Manning. PNM doing this from the start. And then Kamala come into power and write things like runoff, where no other third party could come. Just the PNM, just the UNC, just change, exchange. Because as long as we get a chance to eat, everybody happy. And what about the people of the country? If you cannot talk to the people, own the media. If you own the media, you can't empower them. If you own the media, you can't inform them. If you own the media, you can't educate them. Fazil Muhammad has given me 21 minutes twice a year. Twice a year, Philip Edward Alexander should be on TV every night. If Philip Edward Alexander was on TV every night, there would be not one voter in either the PNM or the UNC. And that's a fact. Not because I'm pretty and I'm sexy and I'm charming, but because the information that I have to give. Paul, my partner said today, it is Joe Paul say, it's cognitive overload. It storms the ramparts of cognitive dissonance. You see it as fact. There is no way around it. You can't excuse it. Even the most diehards, I see them when they share my videos or they share my posts, you know what they say? This son of a bitch, people who hate me, he is so friggin' right. And the reason for that is fact cannot be denied. All we bring is fact. All we bring is hope. All we bring is opportunity, a leveling of the play field, like a rising tide lifts all boats. All we bring is a uniting of the people, bridges instead of gates. The 1% pissed at me. I watch a woman named Ada create 50 fake profiles in a week just to attack Philip Alexander. Philip is a mother so-and-so. Why? Why Philip is a mother so-and-so? Because Philip dares to say, unless we are all happy, safe, secure, unless all of our children have shelter when rain falling, unless all of our people could eat, unless all of our children have access to the same high quality education, unless all and until all of our people could get the same quality first world healthcare, we can't consider this a real country. We cannot. It's not a real country. It's an exploitation situation. It's a hostage crisis. We are at the mercy of those who control these two political parties from behind the scenes like master puppeteers. PNM turn, UNC turn. Summon Patrick Banning to Diego Martin and fire him and appoint Rowley as the leader of the PNM. Not a single Balize carrying member of the PNM could remember voting Keith Rowley as the leader. But take that. Take Faris as your PRO, okay? Faris is now the AGTX church, right? Your Balize till you're dead, your PNM till you're dead, your mommy, your granny, your tanty, everybody PNM. But you can't get past carrying that Balize and waving from the bottom of the stage. But people who you never see in the party before own it and control it. And when it's in power, on your vote, on your fight, you all over Facebook cussing people mother. You're going to kick down doors and beat up people for the party. But all you have to get is a grumbling something. I watched this country shut down Carnival and Petrotrin without a whimper from the people who should be upset that the government has failed us this badly, because the price of ignorance and apathy is that others will rule you and determine your destiny. We are a broken and corrupt little nation right now, lost in the sea. A quarter of a tsunami will drown this country. They will never see it again. We are literally a dot. And it is us to say. I mean, China literally buying this country with bad loans. We want Kitos, we want cams, we want. Come, let me rub your head, massage your ears. We want in your account. Come now, man, we will fix you right. Just do this deal. Just sign here. Ask Keith Rowley to explain to the nation how in the hell Phoenix Industrial Park could have 10 Chinese industry and nobody else from nowhere else. How is that possible? Keith, how is it possible? Are you going to be here when we lower the red, white, and black and raise the Chinese flag? Are you going to be here, Keith Rowley, when the debt comes due and we can't pay the mad bill that you write for us, and they seize the crown jewels of this country and leave us languishing, colonized once again? Will you be here, Keith Rowley? Will your 1% friends, will they be here, Keith? Kamala, who can't find, she can't find her feet, much less something to say. Because every time she opens her mouth, the public asking her why you didn't do it when you was in office. You're talking that now, but you had a chance. Pandey had 2 and you had 1. What happened? If you know this now, how come you didn't know it then? It's the same you and the same crew. If you all know this now, how come you all didn't know it then? The PNM, last 10 announcements have all been straight out of Reboot the Republic, the manifesto of the Progressive Empowerment Party, the PEP. They are literally copying and pasting. Right now, Keith Rowley and Stuart Young are taking notes as we speak of how to run Trinidad and Tobago. There are hundreds of thousands of people living across the road from the nation's dump, and that is what you've given them as hope. Go and find what people leave in the trash, dust it off, and take it home for your children to play. It missing an arm, it missing an eye, but it's okay. Better than nothing. And those people are entitled to real representation even if they don't know it. Those people are entitled to salvation from their own bad behavior caused by the lack of real representation, even if they don't know it. Even if the middle class don't know it. Even if the high class don't know it. If the people of this country don't understand that until the government, whose job is the well-being of all the citizens, even if the people at the tippity top don't understand that until the government raises the conditions of those on the bottom, everything will continue to fall. The country that we want, the Trinidad and Tobago that we desperately need, is one where every creed and race do in fact find an equal place. That does not happen now. And as we've reached the point where we are justifying gating every community, I think it's safe to say we've reached the end of wherever we were going. I have to explain to some people who live in Bayshore, who, for all the bright, they're stupid, don't understand that by the time your street get clogged with traffic, by the time your street get jammed up with noise, by the time you get stuck in your community because traffic using your community as a shortcut, carnage is gridlock that you could be dead in Abbey Pujad, Big Yard or Scorpion, and you had to stay right there and dead because gridlock don't start in Bayshore, it starts in Chagaramas and work its way back. The only way to end that as a problem is to tax the promoter the cost of managing the flow of traffic. And I suggest an arbitrary figure of $50,000 on each fete. They're making millions of dollars. $50,000 is spitting in the wind. An arbitrary fee of $50,000 on each promoter, every fluke tag, every jamishness, every David Budu Singh or Johnny Soong or whoever throwing the fete down there, are $50,000 to start. The Commissioner of Police should be able to increase it depending on the anticipated audience of the party. And that $50,000 is supposed to be to pay for police manpower, traffic management, right through the communities all the way to the Westmoreland traffic light and the Westmoreland roundabout. Close Elm Avenue, publish that Elm Avenue will be closed. And that the traffic coming into Bayshore, round the roundabout, will have to exit Bayshore round the same roundabout. So it's no longer a shortcut. Once you put that up as a sign, on the night of the fete, all the shortcut seekers gone. All. So the purpose of the gates, if it were about the traffic, is gone. Fire services supposed to make sure that there is a free accessible lane at all times in case of emergency in this wild and mad place of gunshots and planners and chopping and accidents and cars running over pedestrians and cyclists and road users. You need to be able to access point A to point B. An ambulance must be able to make it without pausing from the scene of the venue all the way to the hospital. And the police would have a responsibility, if the promoters do not have a traffic management plan, to seamlessly bring, and I suggest, renting Westmall Car Park and others and using shuttles to save you the distress. Because fluke tag could have, I think a couple of people died, or at least one person died. And that should never be allowed to happen in this country again. And that when traffic backs up all the way to the Westmoreland traffic light, the police should have a responsibility to send everyone else away. You cannot join it. You cannot block the intersections. You cannot contribute to the madness if the venue cannot accommodate what is already at it. There is no benefit to you joining this line. And we could manage, clear as a bell, that no event could distress not just Bayshore, but Westmoreland and Goodwood Park and Glencoe and Point Kumana, Abbey Pujad, Big Yard, Scorpion, Carenage, St. Peter's. All the communities should not be inconvenienced by your event. And there should be police in all of those communities I just named to make sure that the residents could get into and out of their communities with ease. I've been asking why only the West, because this issue is frightfully bad in Chaguaramas. When it comes to other places, if there is an issue of this kind of traffic, the same system should apply. Use this as a test case. Use this to set the point. What we do not want, and again, I am saying this for my friend Michael Nahus, who don't like me to call his name, but just call me on my phone to buff me if he don't like what I say. I am saying this again for my friend Michael Nahus, who is a good guy. Me and Mikey Nahus grew up as children. You see, when you see me and Gary Griffith could fall out and argue and disagree and then agree, that is the kind of people I want to know. I don't want friend for friend's sake and I lie into your face. Me and Mikey Nahus, we like that. We could disagree nasty and then we could agree again on other subjects. Michael Nahus, I want you to understand, the point is, the actions that we take to solve small problems shouldn't create bigger ones. It shouldn't create larger ones. It shouldn't create a situation where the people of Bayshore and other gated communities start to become separate from the rest of the people in Trinidad and Tobago, because we will create a stranger danger situation in a country notorious and famous worldwide for its easygoing love, that we could get along with anybody, anytime. We are breaking that. We are damaging it to our own peril. We are creating fake bling. Checkpoint Charlie that was set up on that Regent's Park Bridge was an insult to decency and national cohesion. That was an insult. At the end of Bayshore, there are 2 concrete barriers blocking the street. They should be removed as well. If you want to put a guard hut and a gate so that the guard could have some control as to what's going on, let's have a conversation. But don't create Checkpoint Charlie with cameras and signs and tell people, get a remote, and if you don't have a remote, you don't have a chance. When taxpayers' dollars built and maintained the roads, the lights, the drains, the sidewalks, the rivers in the community. And don't tell me that you prefer to secede from the nation and pay for your own roads and rivers. Tell me that you would like to join the conversation in finding solutions to all that ails us. Because when I said you don't want them in your community, but you need them in your store and your restaurant, paying for your house and your gate, that is an inconsistency. We need to get back to a place where all of the people of Trinidad and Tobago are treated with the same respect, and that the road users are given opportunities and controls. It is when there is no control that indiscipline prospers. We have nothing as a rule. You want to throw a fete for 50,000 people in Chagaramas? You go ahead. Freak the people in the road. Freak the people in Caranage. Freak the people in Goodwood Park. Freak the people in Bayshore. That led to this. Mismanagement at the government level. I don't want to be vexed with Ada and Gillette and them. Not over this. There are other things for us to vex for. I just want that we do not take steps in this country to further aggravate the uneasy peace that is barely holding together. We have this notion that we could stand down, stay down, lock up and lock down any problem. And that's something you shouldn't want to test. We need to ease the tension. We need to make sure, you know, we have all this property in central Trinidad and Tobago. Not one profiteer has thought to build an exclusive party venue in central. I mean, so many people come to your fetes from South and Chaguanas. When you throw your fake rock band parties, where do you think they're coming from? Westmoreland have 3,000 people. In all, Syrians and white people is about 8,000-9,000 people in the whole country. They may fill in your fete. All the tribe, you want a tribe. All the feathers, you want a feather. Westmoreland and Goodwood Park and Bayshore is not enough people to fill your fete. Your people coming from Eastern Main Road and Laventille and Mova, yes, they're coming from there too. They're coming from Sealots too. They want to light themselves and look at the little bumsies in towns too. They want that. So they're coming from everywhere. Toko, I know people come from Sangre Grande to fete in town already. Why not build a party venue in the center of the country, massive party venue, that you could have rock concerts with 200,000 and 300,000 people and don't distress nobody? Imagine that. Imagine a government that has the vision to understand that you could create that, and around that, more business will spring up, more hope, more opportunity, more chances for entrepreneurs, and all of a sudden we go in somewhere. Why Chagaramas? Why are we looking to spend billions of dollars to build a causeway when it will cost us $500 million to pick up everything that people want to go and see in Chagaramas, including the little water park? Pick up all of it and move it to the center of the island. Let Chagaramas go back to being pristine farmland, howler monkeys. Let people go and run and jog. Let the marine people come and use it to park their boats and things. Take all the industry out of Chagaramas and bring it back. You know what Chagaramas should be? Trinidad's largest natural park. Create lakes and rivers and streams. Bring back all of the animals. No hunting, just camping, family. Create things where people safe. Imagine that. Imagine Chagaramas. What are you going to do this weekend? Boy, I'm taking the whole family and we're going camping under the salmon tree, under the starlight, and secure it. Because you have a Chagaramas police authority already. Secure the families. All of a sudden, sense break out. Because the people in Bayshore and Goodwood Park and Westmoreland, they would like to go to that. And all the people who want to go to the central, go to the big fetes, could go down central. And Marshall could hoor till his navel string pop. Why we can't do that? Why we can't have a vision that allows the children to run and play and the drunkards and the snorters to have the time? Let everybody live. I'm not judging. But what I am saying is, if what you want is a country that's supposed to work, then at least have a vision of a country that works. Know where we're trying to go. We want to be a nation where the community could thrive and prosper. Everybody. Woodbrook, Belmont, Bayshore, Mova, Laventille, Talparo, Paratouvier. Let me get, I'm struggling, I should get a map for behind this screen. Let me get to a place where we really, you know, all of us to stand up, Here every creed and race find an equal place. And every one of us lying when we sing that. Because what we really thinking is let me and my peeps have it nice all the time. Because that's what we think. And that's how we operate Trinidad and Tobago. And it will never be safe. It will never be comfortable. Everything will be a remember when there was a good time. Because everything now is a bad time. Because nothing works in the Royal Imperial Majestic Banana Republic of do what the hell you like land. Because we've never elected to office. From the first day of our independence to now, we have never elected into office a government focused on the needs of all of the people. And that needs to change. Thankfully, according to the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, there is a solution. You know what that is? Vote them out. What you are to be. Your vote can protect our country's fate. Use it well before it's too late.
If it is that who you're voting, ready or not out.
When you're voting,
Vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the proven to be all people about.
when you're voting,
Vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the time is now,
that change must come about. Just as how you vote them in,
vote them out.
register and
Vote them out.
all of them,
Vote them out.
stain your finger and
Vote them out.
rescue the country.
Vote them out. Vote them out with total scorn and utter disdain. Let's put our country together again. Vote them out of power.
Terminate the reign.
Let's put our country together again.
I see my friend Derek Lawrenson in the live. Derek, where were you? I was looking for you. Hope you're going good, brother. Good evening, Jason Vidal. It's been a while. Nice to have you on board. Jean-Claude, I see you doing human service on the live tonight. Well done, brother. Good evening, Patricia Jackson. Good job, Jean-Claude. You're doing an amazing job. The head of the Toronto team, Anthony Sinanan. Good evening, sir. The reluctant head of the Toronto team, Sterling Leha. Shadow MP for Diego Martin Central.
In the middle.
And it's only tears as soon as they win. They give you big words that enslave your soul, promising you roads.
And doing roads. If they are the reason why the economy goes round.
Big shout out to Dave Lux.
Vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the passing laws that them alone can vote.
Trying to keep smiling, my brother.
Vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the building I sought, east, west, north, and south. The same way you vote them in.
Vote them out.
Register and vote them out.
To all of them,
Vote them out.
save your finger and
Vote them out.
rescue the country.
Vote them out with tempo. They happy in vain.
Let's put our country.
Together again. Vote them out with calypso and joyous refrain. Let's put our country together again.
Giselle De Silva, we need you as the center in Tobago. We're ready to launch in Tobago. Good evening, Shamala Ramadan. Always nice seeing you on board. Good night to all the usual suspects and all all the peppers. Dave Lux himself present. No homo, as he said. That is all it again. My cousin Ronald Gemot, my brother-in-law Ronald Gemot. Good evening. And Kitone. Marina Butts, good evening.
If their policy
It's a fallacy, heterocracy, a catastrophe. Religion, come on.
if they cannot cope,
And you see it so, then your only hope is for them to go. The Ministry of Education has decided to expel the boy who injured the teacher with the scratch ball. And that is knee-jerk reactive bullshit. Expelling that child from school helps nobody. Takes a small problem and magnifies it exponentially. Because now you've taken away any chance of development from this child and turned him into a potential seasoned criminal. How does that help? I have been calling since the last shooting in the United States of America, the last school shooting. I have been calling for proper security on the nation's gates. Check the school bags, check the pockets. No adults are to walk into the school without an appointment. Make sure the children coming through the gate are properly attired and that they have no weapons on them. That is the role of the Ministry of Education. That is the responsibility of the Ministry of Education. That boy got through those gates with the scratch bomb because the Ministry of Education failed. I ask this. Scratch bombs are illegal. They are not falling from the sky. Take that boy with his scratch bomb. Where did you get this? Let him take it to who gave it to him and ask them, where did you get this? Let them take you to their supplier and ask them, where did you get this? Let them take you to the wholesaler. You're punishing everybody along the way. You're fining and charging those. It's gunpowder. It's illegal. It's gunpowder. It's illegal. Till you reach the importer. The importer is the man that you want to put in the most trouble. You want to shut him down completely, publicly. Send a broad and public message that this will not be tolerated. You will be fined. Your business will be closed. You will be charged and prosecuted. This is gunpowder. It is illegal. Send a proper message that the nation is going to be properly operated. Knee-jerk reactive bullshit of expelling a student in desperate need of guidance is as foolish a move as they come.
if it is fabrication, these statements that this power, when you're voting, move them on, move them on. If it is a frustration, that's make you want to shout. When you're voting, move them on, move them on.
Before they just use out, thief out, sell out, and insult. If it's you who vote them in,
Move them on.
clean up your mess.
Register and move them on. All of them, move them on. Say no finger and move them on. Them on the system, move them on. Put them out in Scarborough and in Bonus Bay. Let's put our country together again. Put them out in Kamuga and in Ladoke. Let's put our country together again.
Tonight I talk non-stop for our give all your money's worth. Speaking of which, the Progressive Empowerment Party is desperately in need of financial assistance as we grow forward. Some of you may have seen last night when I put the entire Toronto, Canada peppers on blast for packing 3 barrels of supplies to send to HQ. Fellas, ladies, you all are doing amazing work. All of the PEP chapters, all of you inspire and continue to build out our hope and keep us grounded and going. All of our overseas peppers, we love you dearly and we thank you for all the help you do. all the unseen hands that keep the wheels on the ground. We are desperately asking. We are growing forward. We are growing forward. We are opening 4 new offices, possibly 5 in 2019. All of them have to be outfitted and operated. It is so that when people in North, East, Central, South, and Tobago need to come to PEP headquarters, there is a headquarters for them in their community constituency in the vicinity. We got 3 barrels in New York. Chalana Birchwood, Denise Xavier, Chester, all of the team, fantastic work. Listen, I can't keep up with the work going on with the overseas chapters. On the 17th in New York, there's going to be a curry queue. Tickets may have been sold out already because from what I gather is curry crab and dumpling and bus up shot and all kind of thing. So I think the tickets must be sold out because Trini's in New York and get that for a long time. If you could reach out, check Felicia, check Chalana Birchwood, check Denise Xavier, check any of the usual suspects, Jean-Claude, Dave Lux, Kezia, Keisha, any of the teams, they're on the walls. Get involved, but I'm saying this, we desperately need your help. We need your assistance. We need your financial assistance. Somebody told me the other day, I used to support you, but I'm not supporting you anymore. I said, but you never joined the party, I never see you at a meeting, and you never give us $1. How exactly are you supporting me? Well, so listen to my live video. That's me supporting you. I am the one working here. I am the one putting out the effort, and it's cool. It's a labor of love. It's to rescue our country. But to take this to where it should be, where it could be, where it needs to be, to get the message across, because Satish Ramsaran is working very hard at launching a PEP studio, and we're working really hard at that. And if you are in that industry at all, and you'd like to get involved, reach out to Satish, because we're going to need some camera equipment and some mixers, all for internet, that kind of broadcast. So reach out to Satish if you would like to help. We need an editor, actually an editorial team, but it's just once a month we want to put out pepper sauce. And if you would like, if you have experience in that, if you would like to be the person that coordinates the graphics team and all of the writers and all of the contributors to put out as an online newsletter called Pepper Sauce, if you would like to be the editor or part of the editorial team, please reach out to Janice Lemon Cricky, the PRO, or you can message me. We want to get that off the ground soon. Membership is booming. We can't keep up. We're trying to get all the cards out. We apologized that there has been a delay, and there's a PEP apology out that's saying by the end of this month, November, everybody who had signed up to October 30th or 31st, all your cards will be ready and distributed, and that after that, going forward, we are going to try that cards will be provided within 7 days of your sign up and your paying of the $20. And we apologize for that. It's literally trying to keep track. We're building out the membership teams. They're going to be doing membership sign-ups in different locations throughout the country besides the 5 hubs, North, East, Central, South, and Tobago. They'll be going to malls and traffic hubs like Citygate and stuff. And if you encounter them, if you see them, feel free to reach out to them. If you're a pepper, go and assist them and help bring people to join up and sign up. This is a moving, growing family of citizens. Here in this party, every creed and race and every other social divider you could think of finds an equal place. We literally want a better nation. All of us want that. That is the vision and the purpose, the mission of this party is to win the next election convincingly, to govern this country for the first time in its history properly to the benefit of all the people. And that's the mission of the party. And if you agree and you would like to join and be a part of that, because every night when I come out here, what I try to do is share and what Michelle Davis and the South team and Adisa Kamuzu and the East team and Richard Blaze and the North team and Simon Wright and the Central team, we are still working hard to set up the Tobago team. And that is me to blame. And one of these days, I'm going to just show up in Tobago, and I'm going to not be leaving Tobago until we knit all of the PEP members in Tobago into a team. And that will happen, I promise you. It'll be a surprise, and it'll have to be. I'll be just as surprised as you that I get the time. But I love, 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 love Tobago, and I love, love, love the opportunity to be there. If you are in a position to help us financially, reach out to Felicia Holder and have a one-on-one conversation. She's the chairman of the party, but she's also running the Finance Committee. Giselle Jordan is the treasurer of the party. She's a director of the company. And Usha Debedine is coming on board to take over treasurer from Giselle. That's the conversation that's happening right now. If you would like to be a part of the finance team, tonight Chantal Mondi asked me about it because I think she's volunteering. And if you all could help me convince Chantal to get on board and help Felicia, because Chantal is a brilliant entrepreneur and she will bring plenty good ideas to bear, even though she's operating as part of Richard Blaze's management team for the North Hub. We need Chantal to get on board with Felicia. If you can help us financially, every little bit helps. Everybody, and I want to say this, the Progressive Empowerment Party is a party of love, not hate. When you hear us highlight people who have done this country wrong, that is not the only message. There are a lot of people who have done this country right, and we need to also pay homage and attention to them. We at least could say that we survived. There's a saying, but for the actions of a few good people, that is all that stands between us and the darkness. And I believe that this nation could have been frightfully worse. We are at a point right now where we could get ourselves a real country, blessed, paradise on earth convincingly. We could get there. Maya Khan is here, good evening. Helen Montandon, good evening. Helen. Felicia, good evening. Would you like to come on board? Would you like to join the conversation? Felicia, speak now and let me know. I'll bring you on camera. We're trying to launch a morning show, our own morning show from 5 to 8 every morning, to compete live on social media, maybe on a cable channel, to compete with Fazir and Hema and Stefan and wherever it is going on TTT, to bring you a real talk show in the morning with real guests and real information. You know, we're going to cross some swords, but we're going to dot I's and cross T's. We need a better country. We desperately need a better country. The country that we all want, the country that we all need, is on the other side of what we do next. The country that we need for our children, our grandchildren, the country that we want to age in, the country that we want to survive and thrive in, that is on the other side of what we do next. Voting for the PNM and the UNC has failed us miserably for all 56 years of our existence. What happens now if we make that choice again? How will you get anything different if what you vote is the same? There has never been a political party like the Progressive Empowerment Party with the depth of policy that this party has. No other political organization in this country has been as democratic, has found itself on more people-centered principles and policies than this Progressive Empowerment Party. We are, and we hope to be, the salvation of this nation. We hope to be the chance that we always needed just to get ourselves. Just imagine food production. When we talk about things like this, food self-sufficiency, this country can't be independent until it could trade in food internationally. Until we could exchange Julie mango for wheat and exchange guava for rice, we ain't going nowhere. Think about it. If the people outside of us control our food supply and all we have to rely on is a finance that could dry up like it has dried up before, where are we going? Where are we going? We need a better country where all of the people have access to the same hope and opportunity. That's what we need. That happens with your vote. That happens with your vote. That happens with your choice. So, that said, and without further ado, I was hoping to get Felicia to come on tonight. Maybe she'll come on tomorrow to be interviewed with what the chairman and the management team of the Progressive Empowerment Party have going, because there's a lot happening. Christmas, if you would like to donate your skills in assisting with the Christmas decorations, we're going to be doing at least one, if not five, Christmas villages throughout the country. If you would like to be a part of that, Emily Jaikaran, who is the head of the events team, together with Sean Sunarine, you know him as Trini Mamu. Reach out to them. And there's the chairman of the party, Felicia Holder. Good evening, Felicia.
Good evening, sir, and good evening to all the listeners.
Right. So I thought I would invite you on to just bring everybody up to speed with anything that's going on. The raffle, I see we have been a delay in the raffle and stuff like that. So maybe you can explain those things to the peppers.
The delay in the raffle is basically the approval from the Commissioner of Police. Now it goes through a couple of stages where we have to write to the Commissioner. It goes to the police station closest to the headquarters of the party, which is Sinclair. They actually call you in for an interview to determine the reason why you're raising funds, just to make sure it's legit, how you're going to source the funding for the prizes, etc. So we passed through that stage. We were successful. Now we are just waiting on our top cup, Mr. G Unit himself, to give us
You
final
know,
approval.
you know why they have that rule about the prizes and making sure that you could cover the prizes?
Is that because
A couple.
I think
Mhm.
is that because when you don't want to sell tickets with the pretense that you're going to take some of the ticket money to purchase the stuff, is that why?
Well, a couple years ago, a Trinidadian bought a donkey and the donkey died.
Oh
So he
yes, I
raffled
remember.
the donkey. He raffled the donkey and somebody asked him, but you can't give nobody a dead donkey as a prize. They go ask for their money back. And he said only the person who win.
Indeed. Yeah. So, I mean, I called today to find out where the approval got to. It came back to the commissioner. So, as soon as I get some positive feedback on that, it will be a go on the raffle. Everything is waiting. The prizes, our top donor, Mr. Nazir Mohammed, he already donated his stuff. A secret donor for the cruise, she already put that forward. So, we're really just waiting on permission to press.
I see that we have our Game of Thrones Monopoly.
We have our Monopoly, yes, that is ready, and they're waiting to award to our fifth place winner. So
Excellent.
that is the raffle. We also have the offices. I am gunning ahead with the North office, which is in Barataria. This Saturday, we are actually moving the meeting to Barataria. So I forgot to mention it, but I'm very
That's
excited.
this Saturday.
That's this Saturday, yes.
I remembered everything else you make with you.
Yeah, that's this Saturday. 10th number 24, 10th Avenue, Barataria. We'll put out a graphic and everything, create an event at the end of this live video so everybody will know where they can go to our Barataria meeting. We're calling all the leaders of the hubs, North, South, Central, East, to be able to hop on a boat, hop on a plane and come, because it's going to be a sweet meeting. Our first Saturday meeting in our soon to be North office, pushing ahead with the contracts and that, and we should soon be turning the keys to our new office. What else is up? Pep Juve. People, trust me when I say you have to look out for Pep Juve. I come from a mass background. I used to play mass with island people and all those things. So they know Philip and they know when they brought me into the party, they brought a real fetter. So this is going to be my baby. This Pep Juve band. I was suggesting the Orange Army. I don't know how people feel about that. But
I think we should put it up for a vote, you know. So the
you were
suggestion
supposed
is,
to put it up. You were supposed
all
to
right,
put it up.
so name the Juve band, right?
Yes, name the Juve band.
So we suggesting,
I'm suggesting Orange Army. I don't know how you feel about that. I don't know how the rest of the team feels about it. Of course, it's gonna be plenty orange, a beer. You and I have a beer war to settle. Paints, all of that. It's gonna be real fun, and of course, it's going to be reasonably priced and will be in true pep style fun and an event that you don't want to miss. What else is happening? Raffle that I can't remember. I don't think we have anything else that's major on the pipeline.
yeah? So this Saturday, we're launching our first meeting at the North Office in Baratown. That's not the launch of the hub. That's
No,
just
it's not the
using the
launch.
office.
No, this is just us doing our first meeting in Baratown. I know it's a little closer, especially for our central and our east people to come right in Baratown rather than coming into Port of Spain itself. So, are you hearing that music? Welcome to
Bacchanal
Belmont.
menu.
Welcome to Belmont. Yeah. Um, so we'll be that car just threw me off. Yeah. So we'll be having our first meeting there this Saturday, and of course the public welcome to come. We're having a nice little meet and greet in the yard, safe parking. Gonna be a sweet time as usual with your pep folks.
Excellent. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I will put up a poll now. Well, I just put up a post to see if they would want to suggest names. Orange Army is not a bad name, I don't think. We've used it a lot, but let's see. In future, when you're coming on the video, we will get you a light so people will see you because you look like we're interviewing one of those people who don't want to give up their identity, right? So, so let's all say thank you to the chairman of the party, Felicia Holder. Thanks a lot for joining us, Felicia.
Bye.
Bye bye. Yeah. So you heard a lot. That was a lot. The poll is not a poll. The post is up. If you would like to help us name the band, we suggested Orange Army. If you have a better name, suggest it. Why not simply Peppers? Helen, go on the thread and start the conversation going. Yes, so that's it. 3474 peptrinbago at gmail.com, peptt.com, pep app, PEP, the pep app, available at all app stores free of charge. We have a PEP YouTube channel. I don't know if Maya Khan is still here. Maya, if you could put the YouTube channel. But I gotta see if we can get a URL and send it straight to the YouTube channel so that it'll be easier for me to remember and say. But because just now I have to remember 41 shadow MPs names. I have to remember the whole management team, the operations crew. I have to remember the addresses of the 5 offices besides headquarters. It's becoming a challenge for this brain. But anyway, we will do it. And I close in with this. If you can help us financially, please. We have PayPal, and you can reach out to Felicia. You can talk to Satish. We have a merchant account now. We're really working to try and get this party to where it's supposed to be. There is a PEP Christmas party, and it's going to be bring either a bottle for the bar or a dish for the table, because we just party. We have this saying, we don't drink when we're working, and we don't work when we're drinking. So if you want to come and line with us, Christmas, I think it's the 15th of December. Trini Mamu, Debili Jaikaran, reach out to them and they could tell you what dish you could bring, or a bottle for the table. A good time will be had by all. Yes, the naming of the band is a post on my wall. Go and make your suggestions there. Until we speak again, stay safe, Trinidad.